In the heart of a bustling city, there was a street lined with artist studios. In one of these studios lived a struggling artist named Lizzy. She spent her days painting and sculpting, pouring her heart and soul into her work. Yet her creation often went unnoticed by the world. One foggy morning, Lizzy found something unusual at her doorstep. A beautifully crafted epoxy river table, adorned with the intricate designs, stood on her welcome mat. She looked around, confused, but there was no one in sight. Attached to the table was a small note that read, "For the one whose art speaks to the river's flow." Lizzy brought the table inside. Her curiosity piqued. She couldn't fathom who would gift her such a masterpiece, especially when she was struggling to make ends meet. Nevertheless, she felt a flow of warmth and gratitude. Days passed, and Lizzy continued to find more river tables left anonymously at her doorstep, each more intricate than the last. Whoever her secret admirer was, they seemed to understand her artistry in a way no one else did. The tables became a source of inspiration, encouraging her to delve deeper into her work. Determined to uncover the identity of her mysterious benefactor, Lizzy decided to investigate. She examined the tables closely, searching for any clues that might reveal the maker's identity. Each table was unique, with its own distinct style, but there was a common thread running through them: the love for the river, its fluidity, and the harmony of nature. One evening, Lizzy spotted a figure from her studio window. A tall, slender man stood across the street watching her. He quickly disappeared into the shadows when he realized he had been seen. Lizzy's heart raced with excitement. Could he be the one behind the thoughtful gifts? The next day, Lizzy decided to follow the mysterious man. She inconspicuously trod him through the city streets. Careful not to be noticed, he led her to a quaint woodworking shop nestled in a quiet corner of the city. Lizzy's pulse quickened as she watched him enter the shop. Bidding her courage, Lizzy approached the shop and looked through the window. Inside, she saw the man meticulously working on another river table, his hands deftly shaping the wood and epoxy. There was an air of concentration about him, as if he poured his soul into every piece he created. As Lizzy remained outside the shop, debating whether to confront him, the man emerged carrying the finished table. Their eyes met, and Lizzy found herself captivated by the intensity of his gaze. She took a deep breath and approached him. "Excuse me," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "I couldn't help but notice your work. It's truly extraordinary." The man regarded her with a curious expression. "Thank you. Are you an artist yourself?" Lizzy nodded. "Yes, I am. I've received some gifts recently, and I have reason to believe you might be the one behind them." A drop of surprise crossed the man's face before he composed himself. "I'm afraid you are mistaken. I'm just a humble woodworker." But Lizzy wasn't convinced. There was something in the way he spoke, a hint of familiarity that she couldn't ignore. She decided to press further. "I understand if you wish to remain anonymous," she said gently, "but your work speaks volumes. It is as if you've captured my essence in these tables." The man studied her for a moment before sighing reluctantly. "Very well. I am the one who has been leaving the tables for you. I admire your artistry. Your paintings and sculptures have touched me in ways I can't explain." Lizzy's heart skipped a beat as she realized the truth. The mysterious woodworker was her secret admirer. She felt a rush of emotions: gratitude, curiosity, and something else she couldn't quite name. "Why did you choose to remain anonymous?" she asked softly. The man hesitated, his gaze avoiding hers. I didn't want to impose. I know how challenging it can be for artists to receive recognition." I wanted you to know that your work is valued without the pressure of knowing who I am. Lizzy was touched by his sincerity. Thank you, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Your gifts have meant the world to me. They stood in silence for a moment, each lost in their own thoughts. Then the man extended his hands. I'm Oliver, he said with a shy smile. Lizzy shook his hand, feeling a warmth spread through her. It's a pleasure to finally meet you, Oliver. I'm Lizzy. From that day on, Lizzy and Oliver's paths tangled. They spent hours discussing art, sharing their inspirations and dreams. Lizzy learned that Oliver had always admired her work from afar but had never found the courage to approach her until now. As they grew closer, Lizzy found herself drawn to Oliver in ways she hadn't expected. His passion for woodworking was evident in every piece he created, and his quiet strength and humility only added to his charm. Before long, Lizzy realized that she was falling for him. Their relationship flowered amidst their shared love for arts and creativity. Lizzy's studio became a reservation where they collaborated on various projects, blending her paintings with Oliver's woodworking to create unique pieces that mesmerized all who saw them. One evening, as they worked side by side in the studio, Oliver turned to Lizzy with a hesitant expression. There is something I need to tell you, he began. Lizzy looked up, sensing the seriousness in his tone. What is it? Oliver took a deep breath. I haven't been entirely honest with you. There is a reason why I have been so secretive about my identity. Lizzy's heart skipped a beat as she waited for him to continue. You see, Oliver began, his voice touched with sadness. I come from a family of renowned woodworkers. My father, Giovanni, was considered a master craftsman, known for his exceptional talent and attention to detail. Lizzy listened intently, sensing there was more to the story. When I was young, I idolized my father, Oliver continued. I wanted nothing more than to follow in his footsteps and make him proud. But as I grew older, I realized that I could never live up to his expectations. No matter how hard I tried, my work was never good enough in his eyes. Lizzy's heart yearned for Oliver as she listened to his story. She could only imagine the weight of the burden he carried, the constant struggle to measure up to his father's legacy. I left home to pursue my passion for woodworking on my own terms, Oliver said, his voice filled with emotion. I wanted to create art that spoke to me, that came from the depths of my soul. That's when I discovered your work, Lizzy. Your artistry resonated with me in a way that nothing else ever had. Tears flooded up in Lizzy's eyes as she realized the depth of Oliver's admiration for her. I wanted to express my appreciation for your talent, to let you know that your work is truly special. Oliver continued, but I was also afraid. Afraid that if you knew who I was, you would see me as nothing more than the son of Giovanni the Great, not as Oliver the struggling artist. Lizzy reached out and took Oliver's hand in hers, her heart overflowing with love and compassion. Oliver, you are so much more than your father's legacy. You are a gifted artist in your own right, with a talent and passion that is uniquely yours. Oliver looked into Lizzy's eyes, his gaze filled with gratitude and relief. Thank you, Lizzy. Your words mean more to me than you'll ever know. In that moment, Lizzy realized that their love transcended the boundaries of art and identity. They had found solace and understanding in each other's arms, and nothing else mattered. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, Lizzy and Oliver continued to create together, weaving their talent into a tapestry beauty and wonder. With each piece they made, their bond grew stronger until they became inseparable, two souls united by their love of art and each other.